Hey everybody, RoseCloud9 here. So I've been looking around, trying to figure out what to build next. I've got quite a few little kits and things I could be starting right now, but none of them are quite jumping at me right now. I just finished painting a whole bunch of figures and kind of exhausted out of that. Don't want to do that for a little while. So trying to figure out, I got a couple zeros I could build. Actually, I got a lot of zeros I could build. Got a Spitfire, got a 109. None of them are really jumping out at me. Got a figurine here I could paint, but I don't have the right paints for them yet. So I looked through what I haven't finished, and I've got two kits here right now that I haven't finished yet. One's the 1000 scale Yamato, which I don't know why I'm fizzled out on that one. It's a good model and I've had a lot of fun with it, but I'm going to go back and retry the Citroen here from Tamiya. And this is going to be a redo. I'm going to take all this stuff that I painted. Now, here's the craziest part, guys. You remember my problem was the gloss paint leaving fingerprints and tape residue. It's all gone. I don't know how to explain it, but it's completely gone. It's the strangest thing. But you know what? I'm actually not as happy with this. I've learned quite a bit since from various modelers on the web here. Most of you guys have been extremely helpful in that respect. Thank you in advance, in case I forget. But you know what? I'm not happy with this yet. I want to be happy with it. The wheels? How do the wheels look? Yeah, they're going back into. Yep. I'm going to strip all the paint off. All the blue. I'm going to repaint the thing. I know how to do it better now. I can do it better. I've learned a lot from a bunch of people. Like I said, a whole bunch of you on here. I even contacted Fine Scale Modeler. They were very helpful in figuring out my problem here. And they actually sent my letter to Scale Auto to get some help from them, which was really cool. They didn't have to do that, but thanks for that, Fine Scale and Scale Auto magazine. I'm going to remove all the paint on this guy, which I'll show you how to do next, in case you run into a problem and you need to remove acrylic paints. But, yeah, it's just, I know it's going to bug me forever. Every time I see this model, it's not going to be the way I wanted it to be, so why not just redo it? So yeah, this is part 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and scrub it clean. I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow probably I'm going to repaint, kind of early in the morning or afternoon. I'm going to repaint the interior here. I'm going to seal it off better because there's little gaps in the corners here where the paint got in, and so inside of here it's supposed to be this nice beige color. It's a little bit of blue, so I'd like to clean that up. What else? I'd like to use the lacquer to thin the paint, and after it's dry for probably about 24 hours, I'm going to airbrush Future on it. I'm going to give it a layer or two of Future, build up a thick coat of that on there, and then again just leave it alone to dry for like 2 days. So it's going to be a really tedious build, again, more so than before, but I want it to look good, and you want it to look good, you got to pay the price. So that's about it. What else do I need to clean up on here? Just basically these pieces here, I guess. Don't think anything else needs it. But yeah, I'll go and show you guys how to remove the paint. Alright, this is just a sink that is used mainly for, my job and stuff like that. And this is usually where I clean my airbrush for cleaning my airbrush, I like to just use Windex straight out of the bottle. You can use Windex to clean acrylic parts in your airbrush, but the thing with it is you have to rinse it out with water right away or fairly quick, because the ammonia in the Windex will corrode the brass pieces. I didn't know this for quite a while, but now I do, and my airbrush is a lot happier. The other one I can use is this rubbing alcohol. This is 91%, but I find that Windex works just a little bit stronger. And this is just an old toothbrush I use for cleaning airbrush components and whatever else I may need. And so I'm gonna go and get to it. I'm just gonna do the car body here for now. So hopefully I'll keep this all in frame. If not, I apologize in advance. So I'm trying an experiment. I got a lot of it off. I didn't get all of it. Like, here's the door I managed to actually push off. So what I've done is I've taken the parts like this, and I've wrapped it in a tissue, but I'm going to use the black fenders here, and I'm just going to wrap them up like that, and then just drench it in Windex like this. So what the tissue is going to do is it's just going to suck up all the Windex, and you can see I've done it to the car here, and I can see all these spots that are starting to bleed, which is awesome, because those are parts I couldn't get off as much as I tried. Whoops. They just wouldn't budge, and I was kind of getting to the point of just scratching them off, which is something you don't want, because then you have to go clean up the body. So I'm going to go do this. I'm going to see what it looks like, and then like I'm going to leave this stuff here for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Come back to it. It's had a long time to soak. You know, more than enough time for acrylic paint. So, you know, I'm going to see if this works. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. Let's see how this worked. Lots of blue. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Actually, a lot of it has come off. Cool. I'm actually just gonna squeeze this out. This is a lot of work. But it'll be worth it in the end, right? So I keep telling myself. Oh, that's really cool. So, yeah, I'm just going to go and finish cleaning up the rest of these parts, and hopefully they'll be presentable and I can go ahead and airbrush again. So I just repainted the entire car blue, as you saw, and it came out very orange peely and didn't look good. So I sanded it all down to get rid of that orange peel, because it's not what I want. And as you can see, it's come out kind of dull and chalky, but that's easy to fix up again. But I think I need to, I actually can see I need to repaint it again. So I'm not exactly winning this this battle here with getting this nice and glossy with the acrylic. But I did learn a lot about sanding it. But I can see here, like, the hard thing about wet sanding is you're supposed to basically, from what I learned from several different sources, is you don't, you don't sand with pressure, which is kind of like, that's kind of against the that's kind of against the rules. So all you do is you just move it back and forth, and basically you let the sandpaper just use its own pressure, and just by friction you're going to remove that orange peel, which is working. It's actually working pretty well too, but it's just taking me forever to get there, which isn't bad, because I'm learning a heck of a lot by failing at this, I guess. And I'm just, man, I'm just really hoping, to get this car there in the end. But what's really nice, though, is by the tutorial I learned how to wet sand, and I should put a link to it because the guy was really good at it. Again, it's just letting it use its own force, and nicely gets rid of all the orange peel. So now I can see it's like really glossy, which is what I want. I can see even a couple areas where I can, if I want to, go back and clean it up. But I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to sand it down just a little bit more, and then I'm going to just repaint it. Just one more good coat of this paint, and I'll get there. I know I will. It's just going to take a while. Just going to take some trial and error, but like I said, I really want to learn how to do this. I really want to get it right, because I want to do this in the future. I want to have more car models. There's, I've got a couple in storage, and it went through the door. Ah, darn it. Oh well, got plenty of that buff paint left. And I keep looking at car models, and I'm like, I'd love to build that, but I don't know how to get a nice finish on them, and that's always been my my kryptonite in these situations. So it looks like a car that's just been sitting on a lot for a long time now. So, like I said, I'm gonna go repaint it, and I think I'm gonna use the lacquer thinner again. I'm gonna try thinning with that again. It seems to work pretty well. It dries a lot harder, but then again, I'm not exactly sure, because do I want it to dry fast, or do I want it to, settle? So I think I'm just gonna, I don't think I thinned the paint enough if I'm getting an orange peel effect. So I'm going to thin it down more, and here's a couple areas in here I thought I cleaned those. Obviously not. So yeah, coat number 2. Alright, I'm gonna admit I'm a bit nervous right now. Can't remember what I did what I mentioned last video, but I wet sanded the whole body, and noticed something is I grabbed the wrong blue. I used X4 blue, and the blue I originally used was royal blue. So I went back and used that. Found thinning it down a lot more to be much more effective, and it's got a much glossier finish. Like, look at that, you can see the camera in there. So what I've done, I'm using clear X22 little acrylic bottle. I've loaded up my airbrush with some lacquer thinner here, and let me just stir this up again. And yeah, like I said, I'm really nervous. I've been reading and watching like every car related video on finishing with a nice glossy flat coat as I can, and it's kind of like, okay, time to jump in the deep end, see if this works. Where's my cap? There it is. That paint lid cap, there we go. And so yeah, come what may, here we go. been clear coated, and last night I gave it a coat of Future. It's super shiny now. Like, you can see every reflection of everything. Look at that. Don't know how that'll pick up. But yeah. The only problem with it is it's got a bit of an orange peel effect to it, and I was reading a lot more compared to what I did before about how to get glossy finishes and stuff like this. It's just been driving me crazy. And one person said to use Novus to smooth out the car body. So what I did yesterday is, or 2 days ago, I gave it a coat of clear, Tamiya clear, and then I gave it last night a coat of Future, and I was worried that the Future would impede on the other clear that I used. It really didn't, and it didn't even make it brighter. It's like it just made a nice protective layer, because like, look, I can leave a fingerprint and just wipe it off. So yeah, I'm a little baffled, but anyways, I'm gonna try this Novus stuff here, and it's supposed to work. That is, if the nozzle isn't clogged up, which in this case it is. Okay. There we go. So apparently what this will do is it should level my paint, and then I'll re-spray the flat clear again. Or no, not the flat clear, the gloss clear. Well, I'm definitely killed the shine on it, which is okay, because I can replace that later. I just water it down here a little bit, wash it off, see how it looks. So, it definitely took away the orange peel. I'm just trying to hold it under bright light here. And yeah, it's definitely flatter than before. And one of the things I figured out is to really thin down the gloss paint, and that helps it really get a nice shine and, you know, fit into every crevice a lot better. What I'm gonna do is, there's a really wicked scratch right here. Where the heck did that scratch ever come from? That is not from the Novus. Actually, it could have been from those dried bits. That would have been lovely. Yeah, it actually could have been from the dried bits in the top of the tube there. So, what am I going to do next? You know what I'm going to do next? The rest of the car. I'm going to buff out the whole car with Novus. And then I'm going to sit on this and think about it for a little while. Let's wet this down again. Yeah, when it's wet I kind of get my glossiness back, which is a good sign. Actually, hold on, what is the devil? Huh, just buffing it out like that I got a bunch of the gloss back. Weird. Anyways, yeah, I'm getting rid of the orange peel at least. And I did get rid of one of the big scratches in there, so I can go back and work on that other one. Yeah, that was probably from the dry bits of Novus in there. There's a couple other little ones there, but those can be easily filled in. But I think the thing is, I think I'm finally getting a method on how to get this really super glossy finish. Like, you can see here, it's still shiny. Like, I can still see the reflection of my lamp. Not as good as here. Here it's almost like a mirror. This is kind of like a fuzzy bit to it. But I'm getting somewhere with it, which is really what I want. One of the other things I learned that really took me by surprise, which was by a bunch of other guys, and this is where I got confused because a lot of the YouTube modelers doing cars and stuff like this, they seem to pull out a car out of their hat like every other day. Um, you know, which is easy to do with aircraft and stuff like that because you're making this glossy coat, and then you know everything you do with an aircraft is just flat. But what I learned with some other guys when I was reading online, they mentioned that they sometimes leave their car bodies alone for 3 months, and that really took me back. You know, some of these guys are working on like 6 projects at the same time, which isn't how I work. You know, I usually work on one project at a time. I'm not one of these guys that leaves projects alone. I'll usually only leave a project alone if I get bored with it. So that was interesting for me to read. See, I can kind of see more areas in here where I need to buff it out. You know, here in the front, but it's not holding any fingerprints, which is really awesome. Like, I can just wipe them off as compared to last time. So it just, yeah, it just needs a bit more work, I think. I think I'm getting somewhere with this. I'm definitely learning a lot. So one of the things I forgot to mention that I also learned when I was doing this is someone had mentioned when you use Novus to use more than you'd think you'd need. And I've got my gloss coat back by doing that. Look at that. It's still not as shiny as it used to be, but this is basically how glossy it was the first time I painted the blue on, which is cool because it just means I need to apply another gloss coat on there of the clear. That's easy to do, and I can do that easily tonight if I keep at this car body and get it the way I want it to, so, which is pretty cool. Which is really nice because it also means I don't have to repaint the blue on here. So pretty excited about that. But yeah, use more Novus than you think you should. And I'm still working out some areas in here, and yeah, still got that little scratch right there. Actually, I think I can quickly fix that one. It's actually a lot smaller now. I can see it's not as deep. Still bugging me though. But I'm definitely getting there, which is really awesome. And it might be a kind of a question of why even bother to, you know, get this thing looking this way. Well, it's, you know, it's it'd be really easy to just give it a layer of future and walk away from it. But I'd like to build other car models in the future, and in order to do that, I have to get this down right. I want to learn here and now how to get this, and it's going to keep being a trial and error process, I'm sure, but I'm definitely learning a lot more here than I normally would. So slowly but surely I might be getting there. So this is it for what I'm going to do now. I've polished the entire car, made some new scratches. Yeah, and I found out why. It's from using this nozzle here. There's dry pieces in here, and they scratched up the surface. So next time I'm just gonna use it straight from the bottle. The other thing is I am gonna order the Tamiya polishing compounds that they make. I found someone on eBay, and they sell all three together in a package for a pretty good price. I'm quite happy with, and so then what I'm going to do when I get those, that's probably going to take 2 months to get here though. China shipping for me is incredibly slow. I'm waiting for something to come in the mail, and it's been almost a month and a half now. It still hasn't come in yet. So what I'm going to do is, and this is what I've decided on, I'm going to take the car and I'm going to coat it with Future. I'm going to spray it once and probably come back to it like a few hours later and spray it again, and probably even a third time. Do this kind of like every 3 hours or something, and that'll seal it in. I just washed off all the Novus off of it, so it should be good to go that way. And when that's done, because the Future, I'm going to leave the Future alone to dry for a few days, maybe even like a week or something, I'm going to re-tape up the car, because the Future's nice and hard compared to the gloss stuff. So then I'm going to do the gloss black on the fenders and all that stuff. So I am making progress. It's just incredibly, incredibly slow, which I wasn't prepared for. I was expecting to do this with like 2 weeks, but you know, I just got to be more patient in a different way. So that's the plan for now.